Menace to sobriety. Just a menace, just a menace. Just a menace.
Hi and welcome to Menace to Sobriety, and here I am, Elliott Wald, hypnosis expert and addiction specialist, on of course Dan O'Reilly, Dapper Laughs podcast. So Dan, how you doing?
Yeah,
again,
mate, I love it.
Again.
I love it when you take over. I can just relax, man.
Just sit back, chill.
Just kick back, and I think it's quite poignant that you're here because what was the first one you done? How many days was I?
The first one?
50 days?
50 days.
Then you come back for 100 days. Then you kept coming back, live stuff.
Can't get rid of me.
Yeah, just kind of turned up, and then and now like another Christmas, 400 and something days. It's beautiful, man. You're part of my journey.
That's lovely. Christmas edition, Christmas special.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, mate.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. You know, let's pull a cracker before we begin.
Well, I already have. She's at home, preggers.
Hey!
Hey!
Fucking won.
All right, let's have a little bit. I'll do the joke.
Go on then.
What is a duck's favourite part of Christmas? Pulling quackers.
Oh. Is that new material for the show?
That's going straight in there. The vegans are going to love it.
So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, are you
What's
good?
going on?
So listen, I've got some questions for you. I kind of really organised this week.
Brilliant.
Ah.
Brilliant.
So this is like your second Christmas sober, right?
Second Christmas sober. I'm not going to lie to you. Anxiety is already a little bit floating around me.
Is it?
It's a bit weird because like I've done so many fucking podcasts and so many meetings and read so many books, and I'm 400 something days sober that I thought that it would be a walk in the park, a breeze. But my mind is playing tricks on me.
I mean, if you think back to to last Christmas, how long sober were you last Christmas?
I was brand new, wasn't
Yeah.
I was brand new. But the Christmas before that, I cracked.
Right.
It was Christmas that broke my sobriety and caused me a lot of problems. So
Was it?
So yeah.
Was that pressure from other people, or what made that happen that time?
I was bored, and I never really believed my sobriety. I was doing it for the missus to keep her happy.
Right.
I didn't think I had a problem. So there was that, and also, yeah, I was getting the itch, man. I was fucking feeling. The Christmas music was on. And fucking my friends were all getting pissed, and
FOMO.
And the FOMO was creeping in, and I wasn't committed to my sobriety, so I was I had the sesh gremlin in me.
Yeah. Still lived.
He still lived. He's still there, mate.
You know what? It's funny you should say that, Dan, because I was speaking to a client the other day, and what I was trying to describe to him was there's a devil on one shoulder, an angel on the other, right?
Yeah.
The sesh gremlin, right? And now, if you've had an addiction, and if you had the propensity to an addiction, whether it be alcohol, whether it be coke, whatever it is, right? That devil will always live on your shoulder. Now, if you don't feed him whatever your addictive substance was, he'll get smaller and smaller and smaller, and his voice will get quieter and quieter. But if you relapse and you feed him again, the voice gets a bit bigger, and then you want to feed him again, the voice gets a bit bigger. Yeah. So you got the angel going, "No, don't do it," and the devil's going, "Yeah, but just have it, just do it, just have one drink."
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah, because now it's like it's like he's there and he makes me feel uncomfortable. It's not like he's talking to me.
Right.
It's like he just makes me feel uncomfortable. You know, like the little thoughts are coming into my mind that, you know, I could fucking go wild.
Yep.
But obviously I'm not going to. Whereas before, it was like the Christmas before, it was like, yeah, fuck it. Let's just do it. But I don't know why. I think I'm a bit stressed as well because I had my fight, you know, recently.
I saw.
I had that fight, so I trained hard for that. Then there was a bit of a down after that.
Do you know, that's funny you should say that, right? Because there was research done on the Apollo astronauts that went to the moon. I think it was the moon.
Yeah.
It was the moon. And when they came back, I think it was 5 astronauts, but don't quote me on that, they all suffered with depression. When they came back, they all had depression, and they were interviewed and they were asked, what do you attribute to this depression that you've had of now coming back from going to the moon? And they said, we spent a year and a half preparing to go to the moon, right? So our focus was getting to the moon, getting fit, because you've got to be fit to be an astronaut, to deal with all that G-force and shit, right? And now we've come back. Oh, I've pulled my headphone out. I don't know what I've done.
Yeah, but I can still hear you. But yeah. Oh, it looks like you're doing a line. He's not doing a line.
No. That's just all done with, right? Oh, there you go.
We back.
Sorry. Oh, I'm back, man. I'm back.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Arnold, I'll be back. And they came back from going to the moon, and they were interviewed, and they said, you know, we spent all this time getting ready, preparing ourselves, getting fit, you know, learning, understanding G-force, going through all the training they went through, just like a fight. Yeah. And now we've come back, and once you've been to the moon,
what's next?
What else are you going to do?
Yeah.
And they all suffer with depression. And so I know you're not depressed, but
it's
that thought of, I've now done this. I've been goal orientated to achieving this, and now I've done that.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah, I mean the adrenaline and the state of mind that you get in when you do the walk to the ring, it's terrifying. Really, it's so intense. It's like you're going to have to fight. It's the lights, the camera. There was a whole week leading up to it. The fucking press conference, weigh-ins, face off, and then when it was over so quick. And when I come home and settled down, there was a massive media surge as well. Like I hadn't been in the press for a long time. There was a lot of press that kicked off, some positive, some negative. That always gives me a bit of PTSD. I think I got PTSD from before.
Yep.
But that all kicked off, and then the social media buzz around the posts, it all heightens, and then it quietened down, and then the week started, and then I was like, oh fucking hell, and it's a come down. It's like a come down.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, apart from that, mate, I'm good. The missus is pregnant. She's a bit ill. We were talking about that. She's got a bad morning sickness, so she looks at me like I don't know what I've done to her. She's like, look at you. She's sick, and then she's like, you done this to me.
Are you cooking Christmas lunch?
We're going up Manchester.
Oh, at least you get some food.
Yeah. They got to catch it first up there. They catch it, bring it in. It's like a goat or something up there. Do you know what I mean? So we have that and a couple of pieces of coal, probably.
Funny enough, when you spoke about
she'll kill me.
When you spoke about that sort of come down and that coming out of the fight and all that surge of social media and stuff, I was thinking about you the other day because I was listening to some research from a professor, and they were talking about dopamine because, of course, that's what we're seeking. We're dopamine seekers.
Yeah.
And interesting, they were saying, because dopamine is the currency of feel-good factor, right? That's how they use it as a currency. And I had to save this to talk to you about this because I thought you'd like this, right? And dopamine is what you release when you're getting ready for the fight, when you're training. Dopamine is released all the time. Like, if you have chocolate, right, your dopamine levels go up around about 50%. Now, if you have the packet or Coke, right, it goes up 215%. That's a massive surge in dopamine. So while I'm listening to the research, they then tried to put that into context for the everyday person. And they said a surge of 215% of dopamine when you use Coke is the equivalent of having 4 orgasms.
Fuck.
I mean, what do you think about that?
Jesus Christ. Well, first of all, I'm thinking about the mess it would make. Do you know what I mean? I know it's Christmas. It'd be a fucking white Christmas.
I don't think I've ever achieved 4.
No, well, I have, but not at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Or on the same day?
Nah, not with the same bird. No, no, that's crazy. Is that what it's like?
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty intense. So that's crazy for your body and your mind.
So think about that. The surge of what we're looking for to use, right, at 215% being the equivalent of 4 orgasms. Who the fuck doesn't want 4 orgasms?
Yeah, I know, but that's mental, isn't it?
So you can understand how hard it is for some people to break that addiction if it feels that intense for them.
Yeah. And I wonder what it is with social media, because I definitely get, like, yesterday I put a video up that went really viral, actually, and got like 20,000 likes in a day, which is quite good. And then today I posted something and it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hate being that guy where I'm like, oh man, that's, because it wasn't really something I'd created. It was just something, a little throwaway thing, but I got a downer from it, because
again, when you get those likes, it's like a dopamine rush. It's the same fix. It's the same thing. We're living in that social media age.
Man, everything's everything's an addiction, isn't it?
Absolutely. Listen, we live in a world of compulsion of usage. Listen, we have porn at our fingertips. We have online gambling at our fingertips. We have the internet at our fingertips. We have social media where we're looking for likes. And even if you don't get a like, it's like a gamble. It's like gambling. You're looking to see.
It's a buzz putting it up there.
This time I win, this time I don't win.
Yeah.
And then you're wondering, what's my strategy? Why didn't I win? Like, you ever put a post up, right, and it gets like 2,000 views. Well, you probably haven't, right? But I've put a post up that gets 2,000 likes, and you're thinking, should I put it up a different time? Should I have done this?
You either do it. Yeah, your mind goes wild. Yeah,
you're questioning yourself.
Yeah, I don't like it, man, because for me, especially being you're a creative as well. You're a creative in the true sense of the word. You think of things, you create them, and you post them out there. And to me, that's what it should be about. It should be about, 1, something that connects with people, and 2, the creative process. Releasing something from yourself to give to other people. It shouldn't be about the currency of what you get back for it.
That's true. true. That's
It's
poetic.
hard. Yeah, it's quite hard.
Poetic.
So what are we doing this? What are we doing this one?
Let's have a look, right? So I've got a whole shitload of paperwork here, right? Let's have a look.
Brilliant.
Okay, so this is Christmas, right? Christmas edition. Happy Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, right?
Love
So listen, I put here Christmas is a time of excess, right?
Yeah.
It really is excessive spending. We all spend too much on family, friends, people, excessive eating, excessive partying, and for the majority of people, excessive drinking or excessive usage of the packet.
Yeah.
You know, do you think that period of Christmas through to New Year traditionally is acceptable to drink?
Man, well, to put it into context, and I'm pretty sure that my friendship group is a very clear, identical landscape of what it's like out there for our generation, how me and my friends behave. I think it's pretty similar, and a lot of people will relate to this. But on the lead up to Christmas, it's almost like, right, we are allowed to get mashed up every day if we want, because it's Christmas. And I honestly, that's why I get the anxiety, because I mean, you know, I've got a couple of my friends now, I can see in the group that they're talking about it and stuff like that. They love Christmas season, finish work early every day, drinking every day. It's an excuse, you know, once you see the lights, the decorations, the music. So yeah, I think culturally it's a chance for everyone to drink and use packet. But what I think is even more worrying is the addicts get hidden. Then you can hide your addiction.
Oh, that's a very valid point.
Yeah,
absolutely, because you camouflage.
You're in amongst
with the crowd.
You're
of course
amongst
you are.
it. Yeah.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I like that. You know, I've got some statistics, right?
Go on.
From the UK drinks business. Now, this was 2018 because I couldn't find any statistics any newer. But it says over the 12 days of Christmas, the average Briton will go through 18 pints of beer, 3 bottles of wine, 1 bottle of spirits, 4 glasses of fortified wine, the equivalent of 137 units of alcohol in less than 2 weeks. I mean, that's fucking crazy.
That doesn't even seem like big numbers to me.
You don't think so?
No, I thought it would be more, because, you know, if we used to have a session over at our house around Christmas, I'll go through that in a night. You know, but that is crazy though, really. If you think about the average, that is.
That's the average, right? So there's going to be people who use it a lot more excessively, people who use a lot less. If you take the average of the whole of the UK of people who drink. Yeah,
me and my pal Matty, the bad man, we for years and years and years, we've been doing a thing where on Christmas Day, we'd send each other a picture of our first drink, and then we'd do that all day long.
Wow.
And
do you have a big enough camera roll?
We used to start, he's mad, because we used to start at like 7 o'clock with the Bucks Fizz. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then it would be the whiskies at like 12 o'clock. But
what's that yellow stuff?
Yeah, that's it.
Avocar.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you, John.
How are you, John?
Yeah,
I'm doing
Christmas,
good.
John.
I'm enjoying this a lot. It's I'm learning. It's good. I'm just I'm hanging out in the back, but yeah, this is great. Carry on.
Yeah, you're like a little peeping Tom out the back. I love that. You just watch.
I got no trousers on, just having a good time.
What just talking about sobriety while touching yourself?
Yeah.
And listening to the 4 orgasms.
Orgasms are myth.
So listen, I've got some other statistics, right? Because I thought statistics are interesting.
Yeah.
The pressure to drink over the festive season. 33% of people who go to work parties felt pressure that they should drink over the Christmas season. I mean, that's quite fucking powerful to think that you feel pressured to drink.
Oh, mate. Well, put it this way: how do you navigate not drinking at Christmas? People, you know, I hated the idea of coming. I don't want to go out, man. That's the truth of it. I want to see my friends, but I don't really want to go out because I don't want to have the same old fucking conversations. No, I don't drink, and why? Well, because I fucked up a load of stuff, and you know, you know. You can't, especially if you're at work, right? Say, for instance, I can completely understand from a work person's perspective. Say, for instance, no one at your work knows about your personal life, right?
Yep.
And then you go into an environment where everyone's drinking and you don't drink because you've had a problem with it in the past.
Yep.
And someone in your office or your boss says, oh, why aren't you drinking? And then you've got to go, because I don't want to, or you either lie about it or you don't want to say to your co-workers that you've had an issue with it. So it's real tricky.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I just jogged my memory because I remember when I stopped using the packet way back, and my core friends, they were very supportive and they understood and they were there for me. But, you know, like anything, you have friends on the periphery. You know, and I used to go to the pub, and even though I didn't drink, I went to the pub. Alcohol was never my thing. I've always said that. But, you know, I was like Pablo.
Yeah.
And this guy that fitted my kitchen, you know, kind of call him a friend on the outskirt. Nice guy. I'd already told him, like, you know, oh, do you want a line? No, mate, I don't want a line. Do you want a line? No, I don't want a line. And in the end, I walked away, and he comes up to me and goes, I left one in the toilet for you.
Yeah.
So I've gone into the toilet, and I've gone in and I've seen this sitting there, and I've gone, and blown it away.
Yeah.
And I've come back out, he's gone, oh, good gear. And I went, yeah, fucking cracking. Because I couldn't even be bothered to tell him.
Even more.
Yeah, that's pressure, right?
Yeah, but what a weird society we live in, where it's abnormal not to sniff drugs. It's actually more abnormal not to drink. And I think people have got to take that into consideration. It's lonely being sober, man.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it at the moment. I really am. One of my friends just shot off to Amsterdam because, you know, he's broke up with his missus, and he's like, I'm off to Amsterdam. I'm just going away, man.
Wars and cannabis.
Yeah, I guess. Certainly ain't the museums, mate. But and I couldn't help. I'm going to get myself in trouble here. But I couldn't help but think.
Shit, cancel that flight.
Yeah. I couldn't help but think, fucking hell, I want to get smashed up. I still got it in
Really?
me. Yeah, I still got it in
Really?
me. I thought it for a split second, and then I went, no. Mate,
What do you think you'd get from that, though?
Well, no, I know that, and I think that instantly. But what I mean is that there's in regards to my circle, like there's still a very small or maybe minimal. Well, not even in my close circle. There's no one sober. There's
Right.
no one else sober.
Yep.
So I'm more or less cut out of
Yeah.
everything, and the Christmas period highlights that for me, you know. But saying that, I get a little. I have like a moment where I'm like, oh,
It's
and then-
counterbalanced, though, right?
yeah, because then I think about, well, look, like last Christmas, Shelley didn't want to be with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were, you know, we were fucking, you know, it was over, and you know, I potentially couldn't see my kids. Now I've got a bun in the oven, and she's at home at the moment putting Christmas decorations up, singing and dancing to Christmas music, happy, you know. And obviously in that time she shagged me at some point. So what?
3 times.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time, mate. Every time I hit the fucking ping.
Should be a footballer.
Yeah, but so it swings and roundabouts. But you know, you got to just have the perspective. It can be lonely for.
Yeah, because you're used to going out with the boys, for example, going to the
Yeah.
man cave, sitting there,
Yeah.
you know, fucking having a few drinks, doing a few lines, chatting
shit. Yeah,
getting up
yeah.
at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you think it's good, and then you suddenly remember, yeah, but the next day I'm fucking hanging, and the day after, and the day after.
Yeah.
But there's a part of you that still misses it
Yeah, I
because
can't.
you feel on the outskirts.
Yeah, I think it's you know, you mourn an old life as long as you can look at the reality of it. As long as you can go, yeah, but you know, there was times where I actually wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was time it was destroying my family, but we still can't knock that there was a period where it was fun. You know what I mean? It's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're talking about commit suicide. Wow, you just jogged a memory for me. I remember my 21st birthday. I don't know if I ever told you this. I was living in Los Angeles at the time. It was my 21st birthday. And, you know, when you're 21, you expect to be out with everybody. You know, it's partying, having a good time. But on the 21st birthday, I was living in Los Angeles, and I was in my apartment on my own. And I was quite a big lump at that time. I was about 19 stone at like 5% body fat, training seriously. And I'd had a shoulder injury, and I was on a lot of painkillers, and I suddenly felt I've been fucking using gear, you know, I feel down, nobody fucking loves me, you know, you feel
You're on your own.
on your own, right? So what do? I start taking these painkillers, start knocking the painkillers back, and I don't really remember much after that, but this is what happened. Apparently there was a knock on my door in my apartment, and I opened the door and collapsed, and it was a pizza being delivered. It wasn't even for my apartment. It was like somebody's looking out for you, right, whether you believe in whatever.
Wow.
And I woke up handcuffed to the hospital bed in Cedars-Sinai Hospital, each side. I was handcuffed, both hands, charcoal all down my front of me of what they had on me, where they had pumped my stomach, and I was handcuffed each side, and I kind of woke up, and you know, there's a nurse there, and it's like, you taking an overdose, and you know, I meant it obviously, because I wasn't calling someone to come and help me. This is what happened. And here's something that's always stuck in my head from that moment, right? So there I am, about 19 stone, right, big fucking lump, you know, I was competing at the time. and I needed a wee badly, right? So I said to the nurse, can you unhandcuff one of my hands, because they were handcuffed to each side of the bed. And they must have looked and thought, there's this fucking big English guy on the bed who's trying to kill himself, like trying to commit suicide, like, whoa, no way we're going to do that. And I'm like 21, and I'm like, I really need a wee. And she's like, no, I'll hold it for you. So she got this, the container that they use. And I don't know why, because it's a weird thing, but it was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. And at that moment in time, I went, I'm never, ever going to let something externally affect me internally to the point where I don't want to be here.
You were completely emasculated, broken.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's so sad, but what a divine intervention that happened there.
Yeah,
Fucking pizza guy knocking on the wrong fucking door saved your life.
So something somewhere, whatever, I'm not a believer, but something somewhere has, said, we've got a use for him. We've got a use for him.
Yeah.
Listen, it's Christmas edition, and this brings me on to something special.
Let's cheer it up a little bit.
Yes. So I bought you a present. I bought you a Christmas present.
I hope it's a box of cocaine.
Yes. Be careful.
Okay.
Be careful.
Oh, for those of you that are listening, it's a big. I'm going to describe it. It's a big red dildo. No, it's a big red. Can I have them scissors, please?
Yeah.
Can I have them scissors? Or can we? Or where are they? Let's have.
Cheers.
Don't be scared. Don't throw scissors. Nutter.
Right.
All right. Cool. Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much. Whatever. Oh! What is this? A crystal ball.
Now, do you know why I got you a crystal ball?
What the fuck? This is mental.
Wait. Let me tell you something. Why I've got you a crystal ball, right? Because I'm a great believer that you create your own future, right? And there's that saying that people go, "Oh, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what's going on." I want you to look in that crystal ball, and I want you to see your future 3 years from now, Dan, and tell me clean, sober, with 3 beautiful children and a happy wife, what life looks like.
Mate, you're gonna make me cry.
Come on, tell me.
It looks happy, man. I look happy and proud.
Yeah?
You're making me well up, man.
And they're all smiling, all the children?
Yeah.
And your missus?
All I can see is my nose at the moment, but I mean...
And listen, tell me what your missus is saying 3 years from now that you're 4 years clean, right?
Yeah.
And she's proud of you. What's she going to be saying to you in that crystal ball?
Thank you for keeping it together for the family. Let's have another baby. No. It's time for your 4th shag. No, she's telling me that she's we've got a whole family together, and she's telling me she's happy. Thank you.
Listen,
mate.
you're back on your tour. You're back in the fucking social media where you should be. You're a diamond. You got another baby on the way. That's your future. Anytime you feel a little bit down, or anytime you doubt yourself, Dan, I want you to look into that crystal ball and go, I make my own fucking future. What am I going to see? That's why I got it for you.
That's fucking powerful, mate.
That's your crystal ball, that you make your future.
I'm going to look at that, man, then. That's fucking...
I couldn't afford the stand.
Yeah, I was going to say. Oh, mate, thank you.
I actually didn't realise it didn't come with a stand till I bought it.
What? It's so crazy. What made you think of that?
Because I just thought, listen... I know what you've been through, right? I know what happened. I know everything. I know your journey. I'm proud of you.
Oh.
And to have a crystal ball, when people go, well, I ain't got a crystal ball. I don't know what's going on. You've got a crystal ball now. So when somebody says, I can't look into the future, I ain't got a crystal ball, you can go, I've got a fucking crystal ball. I can see my future and I make my future.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Most
Thank
welcome.
you. Oh, fucking, if I knew we was doing presents, mate, I would have brought some. I haven't got nothing for you.
You got a wallet.
Oh, yeah.
With a gold card, American Express.
I have got one of them in there, actually. Oh, thank you very much.
You're most welcome. And life wouldn't be right without bringing something for the girls. So you can open that. That's for the girls.
Oh, okay, for the kids.
Oh, this is for the girls.
Oh, this one.
I'm getting it wrong. I forgot what was in there.
Let
me have a look myself.
Again, for the listeners out there, this is a green bag. Still no cocaine.
No cocaine.
Yeah, they'll love that.
Yeah,
they love
what
that.
I thought.
Yeah,
there's gold coins.
There is 2 bags in there,
yeah,
but they are bags of gold coins.
I didn't think the third one would be ready.
No.
And a little sign for the family there.
That's quality. That's brilliant. And,
don't worry, I bought a bag for you to carry it all home.
Okay, brilliant. Yes.
Think of everything.
Oh, this is great, guys. Oh my God, it's like Secret Santa. Let's have a little look. What's this one? Another bag. Oh yeah, now we're talking.
Oh, because I know you.
Packs of hobnobs.
Because I know you.
For my see, you're meant to cure people of their addictions,
I
not
am,
fuel them.
But you know what? It's interesting you say that, right? Because let's think about that.
Biscuits.
What would you rather have?
Look at that.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my missus will like them.
Yeah, I thought she would.
We are happy. Thank you.
You're most welcome. You know what? The crystal ball, I just thought it was a powerful thing to do.
Yeah, that is, man.
But you know what? Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without a quiz.
Oh, okay.
You
all
ready
right.
for this?
Oh, fuck it. Oh, mate, I think we got to do more of these together, John. I mean...
Can I join in the quiz?
Yeah, man. Join in, John.
All
Right, listen, here we go. I want you to name as many movies that glorify or about the packet. Go.
Scarface.
Scarface.
Blow.
Hangover. Fuck.
Come on.
Rise of the Foot Soldier.
Charlie Sheen's videography.
What?
No, I made that one up.
Don't mention anything that, you know.
Come on, guys out there,
Blow. The film Blow.
Write it in the comments section now.
Yeah, come on, in the comments section. We want to know.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street. That's
big
a good one.
Big one. The Business.
Oh, well done, The Business. Are you looking?
No. Come on, what you got?
All right. No, come on. You got to get another one. Give me one more.
Bum.
Muppets Christmas Carol.
Nah, the producers were probably off their nut. No, I don't know.
All right, so let me run through what I got. I had Blow.
Yes.
And by the way, I had to Google these. I didn't know them off my own head. I knew a few, like you. Blow, I got that one.
Yeah.
Scarface.
Yep.
Goodfellas.
Yep.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
Carlito's Way.
Great film.
Flight. Do you remember that pilot?
Oh, brilliant.
True story.
Denzel Washington.
He
owned up at the end. I loved that film.
That's a great film. Was it? He landed that plane. Was it upside down?
Yeah, and he was off his nut.
Off his nut.
Yeah.
And then, do you know what I like about the film? Not that we're glorifying this, but there is one thing I like about the film. He has this guy come in. I can't remember who the actor is, and he's like, "I'm gonna bring you round," and he gives him the spliff, and then he gives him a line, and then it's a shot of drink, and before he goes in.
Yeah, like his medic. It's like his medic.
Exactly. Yeah. So it glorifies it, right? Hang on, let me finish. America Made.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
Brilliant film.
Boogie Nights.
Oh, Dirk Diggler. Great film.
God, he knows all the actors.
Yeah.
The Business.
Yep.
Layer Cake.
Great film.
Driven.
Yep.
And although this isn't really one, but I put it in. Cocaine Bear.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Probably best not to.
Yeah.
But, you know, just think about how many... And here's the funny thing, and this is why I wanted to bring up this in quiz. You don't see people in movies doing a line and being the bit and then having a bad time. You always see the hero, the superhero of the movie, not the superhero, but the hero of the movie is in the toilet doing a line and then getting the bird.
Yeah, you're right.
Why is that?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know, because it's just people's perception. It's glamorous, isn't it? I mean, we're on this case. Me and John have written a film about cocaine use and everything. So that's a bit more real. You know, shows the mental health aspect and stuff like that. But it's glorified, just like alcohol's been glorified for years. And I'll tell you what, Wolf of Wall Street. I watched Wolf of Wall Street with, I can't remember who. I went to the cinema with someone that doesn't drink and do drugs, and I could not wait to watch it again while doing drugs.
Really?
Yeah. So I went back and watched it with a packet of gear.
Do you know, I've never ever been able to watch something while doing gear. I remember my best friend who's not
even porn.
Yeah, of course. Who can't?
Yeah. Go on.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know, although you spend about an hour trying to find the one you want to watch, and then 3 minutes watching it.
Yeah, you end up completing fucking porn up, didn't you?
I came to a conclusion the other day. Porn is great, tea is great, but you can't watch porn and drink tea at the same time. It's just too unsavory. The combination does not work. It's just carry on.
Yeah, that's fucking...
Where'd that come from?
You are in the wrong podcast, mate.
Mate, I'm a therapist and I'm a psychologist, and I think we need to
help.
Tell us that
you could be right.
Tell us you're upper class without telling us you're upper class.
Yeah.
You used to sniff gear with porn. This guy over here is having a chai latte while wanking himself silly.
But I remember one night sitting at a mate's house racking it up, and the film, we put a film on DVD. I think it might have been a video back in the day. I'm that fucking old. And the next thing I know, the credits are coming up. I don't remember anything about the film. I've never been able to concentrate and watch a movie while we're doing gear.
Yeah, people want to talk, don't they? Yeah.
I want to talk, and then when it got to that place in the end where it's on your own, it was like, not only do you... the lights became bright. You know, everything's too bright. You're so sensitive to sound. It's like you got the TV on number 2, and even that's too loud. And then you turn it down to 0, and you can't hear it. You turn it back up.
Yeah. But going back to the quiz, mate, yeah, it is crazy how glorified it is, and I think though that might be a sign of the times. You know, a lot of them films,
so?
Yeah, and plus, look, you've got to have a true representation of, you know, the glamorous life of selling drugs. Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
well, that's not a true representation, but I mean, in those films, you know, but yeah.
So much music as well that kind of glorifies it, like a lot of like the classic rock and like hip hop and stuff. It's all very kind of drug centric.
White Lines, remember
Yeah.
that song?
Cocaine as well, another one. Is that Clapton? I can't remember. But
Yeah. But you're right. But they don't show in those movies. They don't.
The come down, the
That's what they
fucking
don't
pain,
show.
the depression.
You don't
the
ever see
families
the person
falling,
hanging for 3 days.
Yeah, and the family falling apart and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. What else have I got here?
Christmas special. I'll tell you what, this is like a TV show. I love this. So,
Okay. So come on. Here's one for you for the listeners. What advice would you give to somebody who has recently stopped drinking or stopped using the packet or stopped using both over the Christmas period to avoid temptation, but not to have no enjoyment of life?
I think that try and discover yourself, man. That's the truth to sobriety. The key to sobriety is trying to discover who you really are, not who you are with drugs, you know. So embrace that process, and always clutch onto little sayings that seem to help me. And one of them is, you know, is served me well, is like, you know, don't feel like you're missing out, feel like you're free from it, and just experience Christmas sober. You know, look at it like I'm going to experience all of this sober, which you know, I can't remember experiencing Christmas sober, you know, since I was a kid. I mean, as soon as I could drink, I was drinking. So, and another big thing that I like to keep in my mind is that you run the risk of ruining great occasions if you've got a problem with drinking drugs. You know, if you can't stop.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, I've ruined so many Christmases. I have. I mean, not in the sense of like kicking off and being horrible, just not being present.
Yeah,
just
not
being
there.
Just being a mess.
Yeah.
You know, so fucking enjoy it sober and just be sober and just embrace sobriety.
Do you still drink alcohol-free beer?
I occasionally have the Heineken Zeros, because Heineken tastes like piss anyway, so the zero tastes quite close to it. Do you know what I mean? But to be honest with you, since I went sober, my appetite for beer has gone.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well, because also I've spent so much time losing weight that when I start feeling a bit bloated, it really affects. Like I'm like, you know, the gassy feeling.
And that's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Look at where you were to where you are, but imagine where you're going to be.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had a client in the other day, and he was talking about, you know, how am I going to deal with Christmas, etc. And he said to me, you know, Christmas Eve for me and my missus is always about getting on it. And we get to sleep at 5, 6 in the morning, if we even get to sleep, and then 7 o'clock in the morning the kids are awake wanting to open their presents.
Horrible.
I mean, what's that about? Oh, where'd that come from?
No, but that's horrible. But I can completely understand how that's the norm, you know. But that's the idea of a good time, you know. I have beautiful moments now where I'm kind of like, it feels surreal. Do you know what I mean? In the morning when the kids all jump on the bed and I'm lying there and, you know, I'm not aggy, you know what I mean? And I have these beautiful moments
fresh
that I know just aren't possible without sobriety. And, you know, we because I've got young daughters, Christmas Eve, come on, let's go and leave the carrot out and let's leave the stuff out for the reindeer.
Them days.
Yeah, and it's so beautiful when we do all that. But
I used to take talcum powder and Wellington boots where the Father Christmas is.
Yeah, we do all of that. Yeah, and leave the milk out for them. And then when they go up to bed,
and you've got to have a bite of it.
Have a bite of the cookie.
You can't do that when you're off your nut.
You have a bite of that. Drink the cookie and then sniff the fake snow. No. But yeah, you do all of that. But I can remember years ago doing that with a beer in my hand and kind of being a bit like, I'm going out. I'm meant to be going out. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because for me, Christmas Eve was always the big piss up.
Getting back at what time?
Fuck knows. You know, and being a wreck. But now I'm doing it and I'm like looking at their faces and...
You're taking it all in.
So for anyone that's struggling, be proud of your sobriety, man.
Yeah.
Be proud of it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because actually it's a gift that a lot of people that are struggling don't have yet.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. There is one thing that I want to say as a tip,
Yeah.
People talk about if you're going out with, say you are going to go out with people who are going drinking and you're now sober and you're not drinking, right? People talk about you being the designated driver. I don't agree with that. What I think is you should drive yourself separately. If you're deciding to go into that environment, don't be the designated driver, because then you got to wait for every fucker who's drunk or off their nut to come home.
Yeah.
Whereas if you decide to drive yourself, you can chip whenever you want. You can be there half an hour, an hour. So what I would say as a tip is, if you're going to put yourself in that environment, if you do feel strong enough to do that, then don't be the designated driver and don't go with everybody else. Make your own way there, and then you can exit when you want.
Yeah, that's good advice. Good advice. Be a bit selfish, man.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Oh, let's have a look here.
All very interesting conversations. John, anything you want to chip in there about fucking chai lattes and masturbating while drinking coffee or whatever?
It's actually Earl Grey, Dan. I think he'll
Earl Grey.
the name of my favourite porn star as well. And so yeah.
What? What was that? I missed that.
He's good.
I have to watch the episode and find out.
He's good.
Really?
Yeah, he's actually a comedian. A lot of people don't realise this.
Yeah, I know.
Especially on
Can't be.
stage.
Yeah.
I'm actually on his Instagram, to be fair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I follow you.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I actually laughed the other day.
Was it a clip?
Yeah, it was a clip.
Ah, nice. Okay.
He runs my comedy club. Yeah, I love him there. The audience, not so much.
Listen, here's a very interesting fact. 84% of students have drunk to the excessive level of a blackout, not knowing who they were. I mean, that's fucking scary.
That's fucking...
84% of students.
Mate, I look back on... I worked in Cyprus when I first went away. I went away to do like holiday...
Were you a rep?
No, hotel entertainment. So I was with like an entertainment group, and we learned like musicals, and then I done game shows and comedy and all that in the hotels.
Okay.
And it's like blind drunk, right? And this was back when I was 21. I would get absolutely blind drunk every night for months and months and months. And I mean, like, there's pictures of me asleep on nightclub floors, like passed out on nightclub floors, and everyone thought it was fucking hilarious and brilliant. And I'd get carried home, and then I'd wake up and do it all over again. But at no point in that environment did anyone think maybe I had an issue.
Yeah. It's funny, I don't know if they still got them. You just triggered something. Do they still have those 18 to 30 holidays?
Yeah, I don't know if they still do, but
that was all about going, getting blind drunk and shagging.
yeah, mate. Listen, it's crazy looking back on it now, because I know what I know and what I've been through. But they were good times, you know. Kids do that, and some kids snap out of it and get on with normal life. Some kids don't, and continue doing that until they've got families and fucking work, don't they? It's dangerous, isn't it?
It's dangerous because, listen, I think you have to experience things in life. There's an expression. You have to go through what you don't want to know what you do want to some degree, right? But some people don't learn from that experience, and I think that's what's dangerous.
Yeah.
I think some people then can't get out of the situation they're in, or they don't know how to get out of the situation they're in.
Yeah.
Or they find themselves with other people, and therefore they think it's acceptable and it's the way.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. That's so true. And also, if you've got problems, psychological problems, or you come from a traumatic background, or you have dopamine deficiency or ADHD or any sort of mental health problems, or like I said, you come from a traumatic childhood, and then you're suddenly thrust into Club 1830s and getting pissed up with your friends, you're more susceptible to addiction, aren't you?
100%. And when you said about dopamine deficit, that's an interesting thing, because the longer you use the packet, and I'm talking about that specifically here, the longer you use the packet, right, the more you rely on the packet to create your dopamine level, which means when you then do stop, you do have a dopamine deficit. And that's why a lot of people look to go, life's boring, what am I going to do?
Climb a mountain.
You could do that.
No, but that's why, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's what it fucking happened to me. I ran a marathon, then a half a marathon, then I climbed a mountain, then I started doing cold water dips, then I was fucking bang on the hobnobs, the chocolate. It's because you're fucking craving dopamine.
You are
right?
craving dopamine. You are craving dopamine because that's what you've known. And your body is craving a high level of dopamine. And how dopamine affects you is, it's not just the level of dopamine of a substance that affects you, it's how quick that dopamine gets into your system. So there's a speed reaction to dopamine. So like cocaine.
Bang! Or instantly, loads of it.
Exactly. Whereas something else is a gradual rise of dopamine.
And I'm a real strong believer that that's where mental resilience comes into it. and I think that the way that people should, I mean, you know more about this than me, but my thinking is, I'm used to getting instant gratification, right?
That's the world we live in.
Yeah, instant gratification, and especially with drugs, drink, whatever, my social media. So I've been training myself. I mean, you know all about this through working on your body. It's fucking hardcore work for long-term result. You have to wait a long time for the results. Definitely. And there's a lot of power that comes with that, a lot of mental resilience that comes with that. Yeah. And I think that's the key to the sobriety, you know, working on your mental resilience.
I agree. Yeah, it's something that I say about going to the gym or any form of activity or exercise. Is I think that people don't realise it's adaptable. You adapt that to other areas of your life. You know, listen, if you go in and get up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever suits your day, right? And you go in and you're in the gym and you're sparring and you're training and you're running, or whether you're in the weight gym because you want to be stronger and you're doing more and more exercise and more sets, that resilience that you call it, that inner strength, you can learn how to apply that to other areas of your life. And I think one of the fundamental flaws is schools should teach this.
Yeah.
Because they teach all sorts of shit that you're never going to use later on in life. But what they don't teach you is how to deal with discomfort in your life in terms of not instant gratification.
Yeah, I think we confuse pleasure with happiness.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know? Because pleasure, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, tough week, man. I'm going to sniff some gear and watch some porn. And, you know, get a butt. John, stop nodding your head. Do you know what I mean? See, John don't know. He's like, yeah, throwing a cup of tea and we're on. But
chai latte.
But I think that's what it is. You know, like for me, I know that happiness now it's not everything. It's contentment. Do you know what I mean? It's like striving for happiness is too far for me now. Yeah. Like being content with what I've got, or just being content is enough. Because what I know of, like, what a living standard for me, what I knew was worry, anxiety, depression, and fucking overthinking. That was my life. Because
you were worrying is about looking into the future and predicting what might go wrong, not on what might go right.
Exactly. And so that's the way I lived. So when I became sober, once I'd got over a lot of the stuff I'd done wrong and done a bit of work and started working on my triggers and everything like that, and everything started settling down into normal life again, my baseline was just kind of like contentment. Like, it's all right, man. Yeah. And that is enough for me now.
Living in the present.
Living in the present, not needing a fucking buzz to stop my thinking, just being at one with my thinking. Yeah. It's strange.
You know, think about it. When you go back in time, right? You know, when we think about alcohol and we think about the packet and other substances, if you go back, so listen, if we had no ovens, right? If we didn't have supermarkets, if we didn't have microwaves, right? If we didn't have running water, imagine your priority would be going to find an animal, right? Yeah. Or go and find some carrots if you're a vegetarian, right? Yeah. You're going to go and find food. Then you're going to find water. Then you're going to build a fire, right? Yeah. By the time you're dealing with what you need to do, you don't have the time to sit back and exactly. Yeah. But the problem is everything is at the tip of our hand. Yeah. Everyone is like, you press a button and it gets whatever you want. You haven't got any food in the fridge. You get on Deliveroo. You know, just eat. It's there. Yeah. And everything's instant.
Yeah. And I think that is just such an interesting conversation, because I think that is the reason for anxiety, because if you imagine what we're like as animals, if you put us in like, if you think of us as animals, right?
What animal would you be?
Fucking, I'd be a sexy tiger, baby.
Would you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to think of myself as a bear.
You'd be a bear, I'd be a tiger, John would be a fucking, I don't know, koala or something.
I'd be a koala, gripping tightly all day, yeah.
Just holding onto the tree, looking down on us.
Licking them leaves.
Cocoa leaves. I don't know, actually, what would he be? A meerkat.
I could be meerkat-esque. I don't know. I feel quite Labradorial.
Yeah. You look like the sort of animal that would sniff someone's ass to say hello. I've got to be honest.
It turns out we've not been recording this whole episode.
Oh yeah, all right, mate.
Eventually, I think they need to sniff a few asses before they choose.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? I took you off track.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, no, I think that like the way I always think about this, and I think like how we're designed in relation to the environment that we're in, right? So what you were talking about, we're designed to hunt our food.
Yeah.
Right. So if you imagine what happens to us chemically and in our brain, right, when we get hungry and that, you know, our body gets ready to be like to fucking find stuff, you know, and whether or not that's just down to like food, like on a psychological level, it's like chasing something. You need, in order to be feeling alive, you need to be pursuing something, like chasing something, right? Now, normally, as animals, if we were animals, we would exert a lot of fucking energy chasing something, hunting something and stuff like that, and then we'd eat. Now, or if we were getting chased by something, if something was attacking us, right, the anxiety would come and we'd exert energy and fucking adrenaline, and we would burn off a lot of the thinking, the overthinking. You'd run, you'd do whatever, and all of that anxiety from being hunted or trying to hunt would get burnt off through exercise, right? So now that we don't have the animals hunting us, or we don't have to hunt, we have our phone, and what the attacking is coming is in the form of fucking negative news, fucking social media, or problems with your partner, money problems, you know, fucking mortgage rates going up. We're feeling attacked. But we have no way, if you're not exercising, I mean, you certainly don't exercise every time something gets you down on your phone.
I agree.
You've got no way of dispersing the fucking anxiety. So, so I feel like that's why we live in a constant, because there's so much more stuff attacking us, and we don't have the way, and the way that we try and burn it off normally is with give us pleasure.
Yeah, I agree. As a psychologist, I would say this, right? That what you're describing is what we call fight or flight, right? So imagine that we're in the jungle and a lion is coming towards us, right? What we want to do is to produce more oxygen, so we're breathing more heavily to fuel our red blood cells, to fuel our muscles, to either flee, to run away, or to fight to protect ourselves, right? And that fight or flight syndrome is what you're talking about. But we live in a society where there is nothing to fight and we can't run away from things, so that anxiety begins to elevate and has no way of dispersing.
That's
what they're looking for.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, you know, when I had my boxing match the other day, I was like, woo, the fight and flight was running through my veins all day. You know, and luckily I'd done a lot of work on my mindset, so I was working out, and I think that's where especially through sobriety, it was so tricky for me, because suddenly I'd never sat with my feelings before. You know what I mean? Really? 100%. I tried counselling before, but sober, because my counsellor had told me to go sober. That was the first time I'd gone sober. But what I realised is, as a young man growing up, if I was angry or upset about stuff, it would come out in my behaviour. Do you know what I mean? And if I was upset or emotional, or things were getting me down, I'd drink and use drugs. I always did. I always did, and I kind of knew I did as well. I'd be like, oh man, fuck this, fuck them, fuck whatever's going on. I'm going to drink, and I'm going to do. And it was my go-to. And then once I was obliterated, I no longer cared. And then also actually the hangover and the come down was something else for me to focus on rather than the problem. I'd get through the hangover and come down, and then feeling good after the hangover and come down is what I thought was feeling good, when it was just slipping into normality, and then I'd give myself a tiny amount of time in normality and find another excuse to go back to oblivion. So for me, sobriety, I'm going off on one now, but for me, sobriety was suddenly sitting with them feelings and the fight and flight, or the anger and the issues, and sitting with them, not being able to avoid them, sort of getting through them, letting them pass, and not being scared of them.
You sit with your own thoughts.
It's hard to do that.
It is hard to do that. If I'm driving a long distance on my own, I always drive in silence for that reason. And I talk to my friends about this, and they go, well, you don't have any music on? I'm like, no, I drive in silence.
It's a good time to think.
Because that, for me, is I'm just processing. I'm just thinking about things. I love driving in silence if I'm on my own driving a long distance, because I'm sitting with my own thoughts.
We avoid doing that, don't we?
But I think people are scared of that. And I think people aren't used to doing that.
Yeah, because they're scared what they're going to think about.
Yeah, I think so. Had a client come and see me the other day, just going off on tangents, saying, I just want to ask you what you think. And they said to me something like, Do you think that people have addictions because of the way they are brought up, trauma? Or do you think people are born with a genetic predisposition to have an addiction? Which is a very interesting question, which is what people call nature or nurture.
Yeah.
Right? Are you born with it? Right? Or are you growing up in an environment where your environment has an effect on your outcome of choosing or not choosing and becoming addicted?
I personally think that some people are born more susceptible through their biology,
Yeah.
more susceptible to addiction, and then their environment will encourage it.
You know what? When you say born to that, here's a fact, right? 60% of people whose parents were addicted to either alcohol or the packet, even if they're brought up away from their parents in a children's home, for example, are more likely to become addicted to a substance.
Yeah, I definitely think it's
even
genetic.
if they don't know their parents.
Yeah, I definitely think it's genetic. I definitely think that some people are more susceptible to addiction to others, and I think that it works like this. So some people will be more susceptible to it. You put them in the wrong environment, it's a recipe for disaster.
Right.
But alcohol and drugs cause addiction as well. So if you abuse them, you will become addicted.
Okay.
But some people are more susceptible for it. So essentially, your environment can create addicts.
Yes.
But I do believe that some of us are more susceptible to it. I think everybody can become an addict. I mean,
we are all addicts.
Yeah, well, we
I
are.
think we are
Anyway.
all addicts.
Yeah.
We're addicts either social media,
Yeah.
we're addicts by
Sex,
gambling. Yeah, absolutely.
food,
We're all addicts.
food.
TV.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
take a phone away from someone for
Mate,
a month.
Try telling me to stop being funny. Impossible. Do you know what I mean? But no, it is a really interesting thing, and I think that there's a lot of shame around it, like, because there isn't a lot of understanding around it. I mean, even people around me that, you know, I can tell now after a year of sobriety that I'm coming across to some people as a little bit pushy, preachy. I am.
Listen, I'm sure you get this, but I get people on my social media going, "Give it a rest, mate. Give it a rest."
There's nothing wrong with a couple of packets a week.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, fucking. I don't do it around my kids anymore because they're gone.
Yeah.
I shouldn't take the piss, but like, I get the same thing.
No, I know.
And I very much, you know, I have to pick the way that I handle things online very, very carefully, because, you know, I have sympathy for people because I've been through it, but also I like to be real.
Yeah, I'm real. I've got a very short answer for which I use a lot. And I put, because they're like, "Oh, I'm just going to have a blast this weekend. I'm just going to get free for 100 because it's Friday." I go, said every addict once. Said every addict once, because no addict thought they would be where they are now at the beginning. And that's the honest answer.
Yeah.
Just go back to nature or nurture, right? Because I wanted to pick up on something. So you get somebody, right, who's had everything given to them. You know, a privileged life, privileged schools, money, gone into the family business, and that they still have an addiction. And you can have somebody who's had nothing and not have an addiction, or you can have somebody who had nothing, gone through trauma, brought up in a council stay, you know, had worked there, grafted their fingernails, and still have an addiction. So nature, nurture, I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah, so do I. And I mean, and I think, like you said, we're all addicts. Some of us are more susceptible to it, and I think that I think how drinking drugs affects people is different. Like, I think that there's a different type of using, right? So for me, it was never about, I'll just have a little bit and socialise. I always seeked oblivion.
Oh yeah, all or nothing.
Oh yeah,
I'm all in.
And some people drink like that, and some people don't. I mean, I've got pals of mine that I knock around with now, and I go out with them, and I look at them on the way home, and I'm like, man, what was the point of coming out or go? What's the point of drinking if you guys were all still fucking normal on the way home?
Yeah,
you know. And I talk to them about it, and they're like, nah, man, I just like couple here, couple there, and I'm good. And I'm like, mate, what is that about?
Yeah, what's that about? You know, it's funny you say that, because about 2007, I had this concept for a board game that would teach psychology students how to revise for their degree. And I thought, this is a big project. I can't deal with it myself. And I phoned 2 professors I knew, and I said, listen, what do you think about this concept of this board game that helps these psychology students revise from their degree? And they said, it's a fucking great idea. So we started writing these 300 questions, which covered all of the aspects of their studying, right? And we got the board game designed, leatherette. We had little brains that you move around the board. And we got really close to completion of the game. But I was doing seminars in Australia. They were doing different projects. And I've got a little place in Spain, just a little bolt hole, 2-bedroom apartment, if anyone wants to come. And so I said, listen, go out to my place in Spain. We'll spend 3 days together and we'll get this game completed and we'll get it to manufacture, right? So they agree. We go out there. We turn our phones off. And then on the first evening, I said, I like food, but I like quality food, right? Well, my Christmas present's coming. I like quality food. So I said, listen, there's a beautiful steak restaurant not far from my place. Why don't we go there? And we go there. And one of the professors said, El, can I order a bottle of wine? And I was like, you can order what the fuck you like. Of course you can, right? They don't swear, I do. And he orders a bottle of wine, and it was equivalent of around about £50. And I was thinking to myself, I mean, I bit my lip, and I was thinking to myself, 50 quid for a bottle of wine. I mean, if I was to buy a bottle of wine for someone, 10, 12, 13, 40, but not 50 quid, right? Anyway, so he has his bottle of wine, and they pour him a glass of wine, and he takes this wine, and he does this, and he's looking at the light, and the colour, and he takes it up and he takes a smell, he takes a small sip and he puts the glass down. Over the course of this evening of this meal, which went on for maybe 2 hours, he only drank 1 glass of wine. And he caught the bowl and he took it back to my apartment. And I think we were there 3 nights. And it took him all 3 nights to drink this 1 bottle of wine. And I was curious because, I like to study human beings. And we're on the plane flying back and I said to him, listen, Professor, what were you doing with the wine? How did you make it last so long? And he said, well, I took the wine and I looked at the colour and the reflections of light on the surface, and I took in the aroma and the bouquet, and I took a sip of the wine and I put the glass down, and I went, what you're telling me is you were taking enormous gratification from a small quantity of wine. Where most people want to drink wine for a different purpose. They just want to drink wine because they want to get obliterated. And what he showed me was there was a strategy to get enormous pleasure from a small quantity of wine.
That's crazy.
Yet how many people can do that?
That is so interesting that I understand the concept, feeling it, smelling it, enjoying it. And that's maybe because he is one of the rare people or the people out there that like alcohol,
right?
The taste of alcohol, or wine specifically,
or has an educated palate,
But how did
he get the educated palate?
Yeah. Whereas maybe that has got to do with environment. That has got to do with how he was brought up and what his parents were like. Because my upbringing and my relationship with when I was at school and people were like, "Can anyone get any booze at the weekend?" It wasn't so we could taste and smell it.
No, I agree.
It was like we used to get bottles of cider and fucking smoke a cigarette and hold the cigarette smoke in and twist around in circles while downing a bottle of cider, so we got fucking dizzy, head rush from the smoke, and I fucking smashed off the cider. I mean, that was as sort of much we used to take it in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was my experience with it. So for us, I was growing up linking alcohol with getting annihilated.
Yeah, so what a different strategy this guy has. It was interesting, right?
It's very interesting, and yeah, man.
I'm not suggesting it,
but that would have drove me mental. So I would have, as a sober person, I would have been like, just drink that fucking wine. Just neck the bottle, mate, because otherwise I'm going to fucking drink that wine. That's like, that. You know what I mean? That's like, he was just drawing it out.
Yeah, he was.
I would have been like, drink the wine.
But what he was doing, he was getting maximum pleasure from
I get the idea of it. Yeah, and
it's like you can translate that to chocolate, right? You can eat a whole bar, which is what I probably would do, or you could buy my daughter, right, it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and my daughter bought me these chocolates, fresh cream, handmade, called Leonardo's chocolates. They got one in Chelsea, Knightsbridge, Kensington, Brighton.
Yeah.
Very exclusive chocolates, fucking expensive, right?
Yeah.
They're about this big, right? About the size of a 50p piece. And they're about 30 quid for a box of like 20 chocolates in there, right?
Well, that pissed me off.
Oh, mate, it was. But they were beautiful, right? it was the first time that I could take something of such a little quantity
And enjoy
and take pleasure.
Yeah.
Why can't we do? I can't do that when it comes to drugs.
No.
Right?
No.
I don't have that in me.
No, but I do that with hobnobs now.
Do you? How many do you eat a go?
I actually do. I used to have a pack of these in my bed, and
In my bed?
in my bedside drawer.
okay.
Yeah, in my bedside drawer, and I'd easily eat half a packet of these at night.
Yeah, I could do that.
And one half.
If I had a
cup of tea, dipping them.
Oh,
them.
man.
Mate, that's heaven, isn't
Oh,
it?
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and you would just be dipping them in the tea. He'd be wanking over dipping them in the
Yeah,
tea.
exactly.
Dan, do you want to take us through a mindful eating of a hobnob?
What do you mean?
Do you want to like open one and just take us through
The experience?
Yeah. Or maybe.
It's kind of a personal experience.
fair enough.
I'm
We'll
going
keep it.
to say. But now,
Would you like to share watching your midget porn with us?
No one
Well,
said
that's
anything about
like-
midgets. I think there's some projection going on there.
Oh, right, yeah. But no, what I was going to say is, but now I'd have one, maybe two of these.
Really?
In an evening.
You're getting there.
Yeah, but not just that. It's just that, like, overindulgence isn't my thing now. Like,
Okay. How did you teach yourself to do that?
I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I needed hobnobs for ages.
Yeah, but someone inside of your brain, right? If we really took it apart and
Yeah.
put it back together, right? There must be something inside of your brain that's suddenly altered to make you realise that you don't need, in your words,
Yeah.
the same quantity you used to.
It's about honestly, it all boils down to being happy with myself, like, and being content and present. Like, if you imagine lying on my bed with my kids playing there and my missus watching TV. After getting up fucking 4:30 in the morning, having a busy day, doing everything I do, you think that I'd be happy to just lie there and be like, right, I'm going to fall asleep. But that was awkward for me. It used to be awkward sitting downstairs watching TV. I'd be like, no, I need something. Like,
Yeah.
I either need to be drinking or going out.
Yeah,
or
what's missing?
What's missing? I need some chocolate or something. And it was. I think a lot of people relate to this. It's thinking about doing something or having something or wanting something instead of having calmness in my brain and just being present. And now I find myself just sitting there like, cool, man.
Yeah.
This is all right.
Taking in the moment.
Taking in the moment. And I don't know how that's happened. I think that's from
That's beautiful.
all of this work that I've been doing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for that, because I think that you're opening up a platform to lots and lots and lots and thousands of people who are listening because they want help. They haven't got help yet. They're looking for a glimmer of hope. They want to see somebody succeed where they want to follow and replicate. You're sharing stories that they can understand and relate to, and having guests and go, yeah, that's me. That's not quite me, but that's me. That's right. And I think in that same journey that you're sharing with others, you're benefiting yourself in a nice way by learning from other people, which is no different to what I do. You know, I work as a therapist for 28 years, and you know, I gain insight that is helpful for my own self-understanding when I see other clients.
Yeah.
And I think you've moved on enormously. If I think back to, I mean, listen, I remember that first podcast, and you were kind of like,
Oh, I was edgy.
yeah,
right?
really, you know, really.
Sketchy,
Yes,
yeah.
you know, and there's comments out there, like, I've seen some comments, you know, listen, there's
still
always
on
going
the
to be
packet.
oh, he's still on the packet, mate. Oh, fucking look at him moving about.
Yeah.
You're like, you know,
Yeah. Well, I think I'm a different. Maybe I feel like a different person. Like I wasn't. You know, there's a lad that's at my boxing, and he kept dipping in and out of boxing. I won't name him, but he kept dipping in and out of boxing, and I knew he was really struggling. You know, he was on and off the sesh hard, and you know, he's in. I saw him this morning. He's like 30-something days,
Right.
and I was looking at him, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" I remember he was vibrating. Man.
Yeah.
He was just like. You know, like just like everything was going. It was just all too much. Everything was going through. He's thinking this, thinking that. And I sat him down afterwards, and I said to him, "Mate, how you feeling?" I was like, first of all, like just tap me up, you know, if you're, you know. But it's going to be difficult, man. Dealing with yourself, you know.
Yeah.
But have faith. It gets easier. And I might go back and watch that episode actually and have a look to see how far I come.
yeah, you've come a long way. Wow, a long way. I mean, massive respect. fact. You know, it's funny because just reminded of a cigarette brand that was around in the 1940s called The Strand, and there was a radio commercial at the time saying, "You're never alone with a strand." And I remember thinking to myself, that's like addiction, right?
Right.
That's like addiction. You're never alone with a strand. You're never alone without the packet or without alcohol.
But what's wrong with being alone?
Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
it. And that's what it was portraying.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be on your own.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is. I know we're probably running quite tight on time, but this is. I think, the problem that this is. You know, a lot of people try and pin. You know, why are so many men committing suicide? Why are we losing? Why is? I mean, look, it's worse than anything else out there. You know what I mean? It is the biggest killer of men.
Yeah.
You know, I think like 18 to 30, I'm not sure what the exact stats are, but like it's horrendous, you know, every day.
Well, I don't know what the stats are, but I did listen to something yesterday and it was talking about antidepressant medication. It's just talking about America, so I don't know what it is for the UK. And it was talking about America, and they said that 2022 antidepressants had a 61% increase uptake of usage, and they based this on the amount they sold. They took the companies what they sold, 61% increase on antidepressants. That's the people that sought help.
That was probably pandemic and around that time.
2020.
wasn't it?
No, that was after the pandemic. Was it 2022 pandemic?
But yeah, but like the lingering effect.
Yeah, the lingering
Yeah.
effect. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fucking, you know, I mean,
It's crazy.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying that the pandemic and the death of loved ones and everything like that was difficult on women, because it was. But I mean, from a financial perspective in households, a lot of that pressure lays on men. And I think that, you know, losing businesses, losing fucking, you know, mortgage rates going up, fucking finding work, you know. But I personally think that the problem that we have as men is we don't know who we are. We've got to be so many different people. I personally was Dan the sesh ed with my pals, like life and soul of the party. Dan the comedian, Dan the businessman. I was Dan the father. I was Dan the partner. I was Dan the entrepreneur. I was fucking Dan the person you could talk to. I was fucking aggressive, angry, fighting Dan. I was so many different Dans.
Yeah.
But as long as I was one of them Dans, I didn't fucking have to be. I never knew. Like, who is the actual Dan?
Yeah,
like
so many masks,
and whenever one of them was coming off, and I slightly had to fucking deal with something, the drink and drugs would fill in that gap for me.
Yeah. Your escape,
yeah. And then you get to a point in life where, you know, you try and fucking handle life when life comes at you on life's terms. You know, you can't control life, and it comes at you, and things start going wrong. And if you don't know who you are, how can you deal with things? Do you know what I mean?
True.
Who are you going to be when shit goes wrong? Are you going to be fucking this one, that one, this one, that one? And I think that men put so much pressure on themselves to be providers, protectors, and society puts so much pressure on us to get the money, to get the house, to get the car, to get the woman, that anything below fucking success ain't enough.
Yeah, I agree. I know we're running short, but I'm just going to say this because you mentioned the pandemic. Here's an interesting fact. If I look at my client base, there is no question in my mind that the pandemic had a massive impact on those who used the packet. In other words, they didn't start using it because of the pandemic, but when they were on lockdown and they couldn't go out.
When they didn't have to work.
When they didn't have to get up, so no structure, their quantity and their frequency certainly increased. And then when the pandemic was over, those people did not know how to go back to the way it was. So where they were using maybe once a week during the pandemic and that long period of time they're in lockdown, they ended up using 2, 3, 4 times a week. And I see people who now consistently still use 3, 4, 5 plus times a week who didn't do that prior to the pandemic.
Yeah.
That's a lot to be said.
Yeah, I think, you know, we can blame the government for that. I mean, it what a shit show, you know what I mean? And not just that, I personally know lads that have young families that were, you know, had put all of their, say for instance, they put all of their money into, say, like a tattoo parlour, they're tattooists, and they put all of their money into doing up a tattoo parlour, you know, getting the staff, getting the chairs, getting everything sorted in there, starting the Instagram page, fucking 30 grand that they've saved up for years. They start it, pandemic hits, the geezer that owns the place still wants his fucking rent, but they can't make no money. The next thing, they've lost it. All the money they've put into it, the kit out, everything's gone. They've got no money. But they were slowing down on their drugs and they were slowing down on their drinking in order to fucking get this thing off the ground.
Yeah.
And then went, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm getting off me nut.
Yeah.
And haven't come back from that.
Yeah.
And if you spoke out against it, they're like, "Oh, you just don't care about other people. You're just trying to kill granny." It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Let us live our lives.
Thanks for
Fuck
piping
Yeah.
up, John.
Sorry.
Yeah.
no,
He's
it's-
passionate about
You're
it.
still angry, man.
I can tell he's the one out there with the ballad.
Yeah.
You know what, Dan? We should pull a crack and we should everyone happy Christmas.
Yep, let's do it.
All right. Hey.
Oh,
wait,
look
you
at that,
keep
what a
winning.
catch. Yeah, one more joke then before we
here
go.
we go.
One more joke before we go. Big shout out to John. You've helped us with today's podcast. And
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, Dan.
Got some mince pies for you, John,
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Okay.
to dip with your tea.
A cup of tea and a bash.
Sounds
And then
good.
off out to kill a granny.
It's the only way I can come. No, that's horrible. God's sake, Daniel, you're a bad influence.
Oh,
All right,
mate.
John, cut that.
Right, this has been my favourite podcast in ages. I think we might. Are you up for discussing making this a regular thing with
Yes,
me?
I definitely want to come
Brilliant.
back and be with you, Dan.
Also,
Brilliant.
just an idea. What if you guys watch some clips from the first episode and you can see how far you've come and changed?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
that'd be
like that
great.
idea, John.
John, you up for that? Yeah, producing
like
that.
Do it.
Why did Pied Piper join social media? He wanted more followers.
Oh, that's that.
relevant.
That's relevant.
Woo! I'll let you sign us out.
All right, well, listen, have a happy Christmas, everybody. And listen, remember, stay clean, stay focused, and enjoy your day. From Dan, myself, and Menace to Sobriety, have a happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And John, of course.
Woo! Woo! Cup of tea and a wank. Oh, yes. And don't forget, if you want to come and see me live and meet me, I'm going on tour. The Daniel O'Reilly Out of Character full UK tour kicks off in January 2024, and tickets are on sale right now. I'm going to try and get out and meet as many of you as possible. And of course, I'm going to be bringing the laughs all over the UK. There's 23 dates right now, and I'm adding more all the time. Hit the link in the bio and get your tickets now and come have some fun. If you're going through a tough time at the moment, please don't suffer in silence. Feel free to pick up the phone and contact any of these helplines. I personally, myself, at one of my darkest points, contacted the Samaritans, and it completely changed my outlook and got me out of a really deep, dark place. A problem shared really is a problem halved. So if you don't feel confident talking to those around you, check out any of these organisations and give them a call. This is my Facebook group. Just simply search on Facebook, Men and Their Emotions. It's for men only, but once you're in there, you can talk anonymously about your problems and help others and just feel a little bit of community. So come join the conversation, Men and Their Emotions, on Facebook. Thanks for watching.
Menace to sobriety. Just a menace.